Yesterday I made a video that upset quite a few people, and today I'm back with 2 hoodies to probably upset quite a few more. The video was about why, if you're getting into game development, indie dev may not be the best option for you. And I'll admit it was a little clickbaity because that just works. But it had some really important points, and there were some really key things that I think need to be teased out and maybe extended on a little bit. First off, I know that it discouraged a couple people. You can see right here. But that was certainly not the goal. The goal of the video was really to give people the understanding of how they can really maximize their potential, get the best education benefits and connections by considering other things than just indie, and get paid really well while they're doing it, or at least generally paid quite a bit better. But in this video, I'm not going to talk about the pay part. I just want to focus on that education benefit and the connections. Because if you're a new developer just getting into the industry or looking at getting into it, I think that these are very important things to understand. And if you're an experienced developer who's been doing it a long time, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this at the end of it too. If you think that I'm crazy, wrong, or if maybe there's some other advice or guidance you would give to these new developers that are getting started or maybe just been in the industry for a little while trying to figure out what they want to do. And when it comes down to it, there are really kind of 3 core ways to learn and get into game development. There's the way that a lot of us took, which was being relatively self-directed, doing a lot of reading, a lot of research, and taking a really long time to build up these skills. And I think that that's what a lot of people do to start, and I recommend it. I think that if you're getting into game development, before you go down any other route, do some self-directed learning. Make sure that you enjoy it, that you learn it. And by that, I mean, you're coming up with the problems, you're solving the problems and figuring things out, either creating small projects, maybe following a couple tutorials at first and then creating small projects, searching around and putting things together and figuring out how software works, how games work, and how all of the pieces come together. I think that it's probably the most important and first thing that you should do before you go into any of the other ways to learn. Number one, because it's the easiest. It's the cheapest thing. It doesn't really cost you anything. You can do it literally right now. You could stop watching this video and just start coding and start practicing and trying, or wait till the end of the video is what I would recommend. And you really just, there's no barrier to entry. It's definitely a thing that I recommend to everybody. You should be doing this even if you're doing these other routes. So what are the other things? The other ways that you can learn game development or software, like through a more traditional program, something like going to a college class or getting a whole college degree on computer science, or even now there are plenty of places that offer degrees in game development, game programming, or other tertiary parts of game development if you're not specifically on the programming side. Now, personally, I think instructor-led courses can be great as long as they're focused on the correct thing. If you're focused on what it is you're trying to learn and the courses are on what you want to learn, it's a great way to build up those skills because of a couple reasons. The first is just obviously that you're getting some direction from like a position of experience. Usually, the person who's teaching has some experience either in the game industry or somewhere related. I'd say most of the time they're going to be game developers who've built games and they've gone through this process. They know it all, and they can teach you from experience what works, what doesn't work, and what types of things you need to understand and learn and know about, what types of things you might not. Like, hopefully they'll start you with, use source control day one, and the important types of things that you need to know as a software developer, and then build up those skills and give you some direction. The other really big benefit, though, is the peer interaction. Being able to talk to other people who are learning and at kind of the same level or around the same level as you, seeing what they're learning, how they're growing, and what's working well for them and what's not, and being able to bounce ideas off of them and talk to them and get relatable advice back from other people that you're actually learning alongside with. I think this is immensely valuable, and it can't be understated. In fact, I even do this with my online courses. We have live calls basically almost every other day, and the students can talk to each other, interact with each other, and I think it's one of the most important parts. It's like one of the key things. Also, they're talking to me, asking questions as well, which I think is another very important thing. You can have the ability to ask people questions who have ideally some position of authority and some understanding of what they're talking about, can really explain it to you. Instead of searching and trying to figure out which answer is right, you've got someone that's kind of a good source. Now, with ChatGPT out there, you also have that as a pretty good free source. So I can recommend that as well. But I think that kind of goes back up with the close. It's like a kind of a mix between self-directed and the college or course-directed. And when I talk about colleges, of course, you can do in-person college, great for that kind of stuff. I think online stuff is okay too, and online courses, obviously great for that. I mean, I teach my own online courses, and I take online courses myself when I want to learn stuff very quickly and focused and just kind of get down to it and be able to talk directly with the instructor and the other people that are in there. Find that it helps me a lot. So either one of those, great option. But that video yesterday was really about the third way to learn, and that's like, I think, by far the best way to learn if you can, which is learning on the job. You get hired, you know some of the job, maybe the basics. This is what an entry-level job is, right? You understand the basics, the fundamentals. You don't really know how to do the job well or how to do the job completely. You're going to be learning on the job, building up that experience, and getting paid while you do it. This is one of the best parts about it, right? First, I said I wasn't going to talk about pay, but really quickly, college costs money, courses cost less money, work, inverse. You get paid money, so you make money while you're learning. And you get to learn from a bunch of different experts. Typically, as long as your company isn't super tiny, if you're the only person there, you're the only developer, obviously you lose this benefit. You still have the pay benefit, but you lose the other the benefit of having the ability to ask a bunch of other developers who've been working on this game and other games for who knows how long and have been through all kinds of problems and can share those stories with you. You'll be able to ask them questions and have them kind of guide you through doing things the right way, unlearning your bad behaviors, learning some new good behaviors. And I find that it's the best and fastest way to learn because you've got that just direct, the other programmer comes down, sits next to you, you're working together, they're showing you exactly why. And if there's anything you don't understand, in most scenarios, you can just ask them and they'll bounce, you can have this nice long conversation. You can get drastically better in a day. You can give it like a week or a month at a place that's got some good mentoring with good developers, and you can just blow away what you could learn any other place, I think. But that does require that the job isn't overloaded and that there's actually time for people to do that, which there usually is. You just have to make sure to ask and stuff. The other part about this, though, is that while you're doing that, you're also just interacting constantly with other peers, other game developers. So you're talking to game designers, you're talking to the artists, you're talking to the producers, you're talking to the other programmers. And the bigger your team is, the more of those people you're talking to. You're going to lunch with them, having company parties and all this other stuff, building up friendships and relationships and a big network of game developers, which of course helps when you decide that you want to do something else, like go start your own indie company, your own AA company, or go join some other project. If you've worked at a company that has 100 people there, you work there for a year or two, a lot of those 100 people are going to go off to other places. If you happen to know them, it's a good opportunity to reach out and keep those relationships around. And not just for the connections, but I feel like people like to hire people that they've worked with before and that they've seen work well. So it helps a lot. The last thing that I wanted to mention here that I think is probably the biggest part, maybe it's not the biggest, it's definitely the last, is that at work, you don't have to think about what the problems are. You don't have to try to figure out what it is you're going to build, how you're going to make it fun, and all of that stuff. At least not as a programmer. As a designer, you have to kind of do that stuff. But as a programmer, you're going to get to focus on the engineering part and have the specific problems that you need to fix given to you, especially when you're coming in as a junior associate level programmer at the beginning of your career. You're going to come in and go, hey, these are the issues. We think maybe you can knock out, figure out why these particle effects aren't playing on these enemies, or whatever different thing it is, right? Get a bunch of bugs to fix first, start to learn the systems, start to gain some skills. And as you get better, your lead developer should be expanding and growing those tasks, and you're going to get better kind of directed at what to do and what to learn instead of having to go try to figure that out yourself. Now, that said, even if you're at work, you should definitely do some course stuff or self-directed stuff on your own. Keep learning on the side and figuring things out. But you're going to learn way faster and way more if you're actually working with a bunch of other experienced developers who can give you good advice on what you need to do, how to do it, what the pitfalls are, and all of the horror stories that they've run into. All right, if you're a new developer and this was any kind of helpful, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe instead of unsubscribing, I guess. And if you're a experienced developer and you think that there's maybe more to add or something I missed or something I just got wrong, please just drop a comment down below. Also, if you got questions about it, feel free to drop a comment. Not only experienced developers can comment, everybody can. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.